This is the Ancheer Smartzip E-bike. It's a really affordable option for transportation. At the time of this recording, it only comes in at $390, and to get an e-bike under $500 is pretty incredible. That's a really good deal. However, as you can see, it's obviously a condensed size. It's not a full-sized e-bike, so there are some limitations with that. When I first unboxed this product and assembled it, it was very simple and easy to do because the e-bike was basically already mostly assembled. There were a few things that I had to do, like install the pedals and take off some of the foam, but other than that, the e-bike was basically ready to go. The tires had air in it, and it was basically rideable within like 5 minutes of getting it. My first impressions about this e-bike is, number one, it's kind of a cool little gadget to have with you. I mean, for 390 bucks, if you live in like an urban area like the city or something, this could be awesome to rip around on, and it could still get you in a lot of places. I think it has a max range of 27 miles. Now, obviously, that's like in the best riding conditions, so you're probably gonna get less than that. Maybe around 15 to 20 might be more average for most people, so you have to keep that in mind. But honestly, if you lived in a city, to be able to travel that distance on a bike like this could be really nice. The nice thing about having this compact size is it's really easy to store it in different places. It doesn't take up that much room. You could actually probably toss this in the trunk of your car or the trunk of your vehicle, and it shouldn't be an issue for you. It's really nice that the handlebars fold down. That way it gives you more room to store it in different places, and it's really easy to do. All it comes with is this little latch that you have to unfold it, and then you just flip it back up and secure the latch again. I also like that it has this little hand grip right here to pick it up. It just makes that process easier. But the e-bike still comes in at a weight of 50 pounds, and that is lightweight for an e-bike, like a normal sized e-bike. That would be considered a lightweight e-bike. But for this size, that's still a decent amount of weight. And the reason is because it has the battery. Usually the battery is the most heavy part of your e-bike, just to be able to get that most distance out of it. So 50 pounds doesn't feel that bad to me, though. I feel like most people would be able to manage this without really straining themselves. The seat on this is surprisingly comfortable. I didn't have an issue when I sat on it. Obviously, I haven't rode this for a very long time. It's like the middle of winter here, so there's snow everywhere. So I've been riding this indoor in my basement, and it's kind of been fun even to have in here. It honestly goes faster than I was expecting, so I actually had to be a little bit careful and ride it in its low setting. It has 3 different speed levels: low, medium, and like fast. And it goes all the way up to 20 miles an hour. So that is still really quick for a bike to be able to travel that fast. So that was kind of nice that it still has speed, even though it has a decently long battery range, and it's a small bike, so to be able to go that fast was just kind of neat. On the little control panel, it also has a button called 6km, and that's the cruise control on this bike. So if you're going 6 kilometers an hour and you hold that button down for 3 seconds, it's going to automatically engage cruise control. So that's kind of nice. If you have a further distance to travel, you don't have to just hold down the throttle the whole time, or you don't have to pedal the whole time. You can just rely on that cruise control. The throttle on this thing is a half twist throttle, which feels fine to me. There isn't an issue with it. And then you also can get assistance by pedaling, and it will automatically engage the motor for whatever speed level you have this e-bike in. I will say that this little control panel feels a little bit outdated. It's not quite as nice as the LED screens on more expensive e-bikes. So I feel like this is one of the ways they're cutting costs to make this more affordable, is by just having a basic screen. So you're not going to be able to see all your typical metrics like your odometer, your speed of how fast you're traveling. Basically, it has 3 little dots to let you know what speed mode you're in, and then it has 4 little dots to let you know your battery life. So that's pretty basic. So if you're looking for more of an in-depth layout, you won't really get it with this e-bike. The brakes on this are just average. They're mechanical brakes, but I didn't feel unsafe riding this. I was able to stop in a decent amount of time, so I felt fine riding it. And also when it comes to the riding experience, just in my basement here, the one thing that's a little bit different is the tire size. So I don't know exactly what size these are. Maybe they're 15-inch tires, something like that. They're definitely a smaller size tire, but it still rode fine in here. Turning felt a little bit different, and that's probably because I'm trying to turn in these tight quarters of my basement. It's not like I have the open road to just freely maneuver around on. I was still able to handle this with no problem at all. It just felt slightly different. I don't really know how to describe it to you. It wasn't a bad experience. It just felt like I'm riding a little bit smaller of a bike, so when I'm turning and stuff, it just felt a little bit different. The one thing that is kind of impressive for this small e-bike is it has a weight capacity of 265 pounds, so that does accommodate larger riders. You can be pretty hefty and still manage this e-bike, but it says on their website that it has a recommended height of only 5'6". That's the maximum height. But I'm 5'10", and I felt pretty comfortable riding this, so that's 4 inches higher than their recommended height level, and it felt fine to me. So you could probably be a little bit taller and still be able to ride this bike. Now if you're like 6'3" or something, maybe that might feel more uncomfortable to you. Your knees might be closer to your chest if you're trying to pedal this, so that is something to be mindful of. But for me, again, I'm 5'10", and I didn't seem to struggle riding this. Surprisingly, this e-bike does come with a front headlight on it, so that's kind of neat, but it doesn't have anything in the rear of it, so you're not going to get a tail light with this e-bike. This e-bike also comes with a 350 watt motor that peaks out at 500 watts. Now that's a little bit more on the weaker side. I typically like to ride e-bikes at least up to 500 watts. That usually feels a little bit more comfortable. But I really won't know how good the motor is until I take it outside and ride it up some hills. That's usually where you can see how strong of a motor it has. But I bet if I have momentum, I'll still be able to get up hills no problem, but that will be the one thing that I will want to test out in the future. The battery on this is located right in here, and the downfall about it is it's not removable, so you can't take your battery inside the house to charge it. You have to bring the whole bike inside with you. Another thing that's just kind of so-so about this e-bike are these fenders. They're just plastic. They don't seem the most durable to me, but they might help a little bit keep the dirt off you. One thing I noticed about this e-bike is it doesn't have any gears or shifting with it, so you're kind of just locked in at one resistance level. So that's kind of what I'm feeling for my initial impressions about this e-bike, is it just kind of has some basic parts to it, like the gears, this little screen here, the fact that you can't remove your battery, the condensed size, all of that thing is just kind of basic about it. But the one really good thing about it is its price tag of only coming in at $390. So when I just compare this to like expensive e-bikes, obviously it's not up to those standards. It doesn't compete with them. But again, it's just not even quite in that same category because it's not even in the same price range. So when I compare this to like a $400 scooter, electric scooter, I feel like this actually competes with those items, because I actually think I'm someone who prefers sitting down when I'm commuting. Now, you might be someone who likes riding electric scooters better, but with this thing, I feel like it performs just as good, or if not better, than some electric scooters that I've tested out in this price range. And you get the luxury of being able to sit down and ride it like a bike. So I kind of think if you're someone who wants to commute around your neighborhood more leisurely, this could be a commuter-friendly option for you that's affordable. And also, when you're comparing this to an electric scooter, the one thing that's better about this e-bike is it has larger tires compared to just normal scooter tires. So this actually should make for a much smoother ride, and you don't have to worry as much about hitting a pothole and going over the handlebars like you would on a scooter. There were times where I was riding in an area that was really bumpy, and you had to like sit back on your electric scooter to keep your weight from the front because you didn't want to accidentally go over your handlebars. But with this, with the larger tires, it should be able to handle different terrain and cracks in the sidewalk a little bit better than a scooter. So I don't think this is quite on par with a more expensive full-sized e-bike, but I do think it could be a good alternative option instead of an electric scooter. So those are kind of my thoughts about this, but that is the Ancheer Smartzip e-bike. Let me know what you think, if this is something worth getting, and thanks for watching. Hopefully it helped you out a little bit if you're deciding to get something like this.